Back to the 2022 Beaufort County host of the 2022 Dixie Boys and Dixie Junior State Tournament. This is the championship matchup for the Dixie Junior Boys Tournament. Coming out of losers bracket is Beaufort County, and in the winners bracket is Central Clemson. The first pitch on the way, and that's going to be in there for a strike. This count goes to no balls and one strike. Central Clemson is the home team today. Beaufort County is visiting team. Beaufort County needs to win 2 games in order to win this tournament. And that is across for another strike as the pitcher quickly finds his groove here for Central Clemson. Leadoff hitter for Beaufort County is going to be the center fielder, number 5, Tanner Altman. As the pitcher shakes off the sign. And that's going to be low for ball 1. You're going to see Beaufort County line up very similar to the way they lined up in the first game. You have Tanner Altman leading off and playing center. Second, the 2-hole is going to be Dade Barbina playing shortstop as that pitch is wide for a ball, and the count goes to 2-2. Behind the dish today is going to be number 12, Sellers Lynn. He's moved over from first base. Last game he played first, but they are putting the big body behind the plate, and he's a phenomenal catcher. Playing third is going to be number 10, Rowan Canaday, hitting in the 4-hole. And that pitch is wide. Great at bat put together here by Tanner Altman. Batting fifth is going to be the left fielder, number 8, Michael O'Connell. Batting sixth and playing second is going to be number 7, Heyward Mcelhaney. And the payoff pitch is wide. Tanner Altman is going to make his way down to first with a leadoff walk after the pitcher quickly climbs to no balls, 2 strikes. He throws 4 balls in a row. And that walk is going to bring up the shortstop, number 1, Cade Barbina. Following Heyward is going to be the pitcher, number 6, Alex Arnold. And the pitch, it's going to be wide, and that's going to get past the catcher. He was trying to pitch out because he thought Tanner was going to steal, and that was an interesting play there as the pitch just bounced off the catcher's mitt and got to the backstop. Tanner's going to be safe at second base. Batting in the 7th hole is going to be pitcher, number 6, Alex Arnold. Playing first and batting 8th is going to be number 3, Remington Wheeler. And getting the start in right field, batting 9th is number 4, Jack Zahn. And the 1-1 pitch is going to be swung on and fouled straight back for a strike. And that brings the count to 1-1. On the mound today for Central Clemson is going to be number 7, Luke Turner. And behind the plate today is going to be number 27, Jackson Owenby. And whenever Central Clemson comes to the plate, I'll run through their lineup in a little bit. And that's outside for a strike. And that is a 1-2 count here to Dade Barbina, who has grounded out a few times earlier today in the first game. And that's going to be low for a ball, and that evens the count up 2-2. As I'm going through and erasing all of my notes from last game here for Beaufort County. They played back-to-back. They're playing in a doubleheader today. And that's going to be wide in the dirt. Tanner Altman thought about going. He thought that ball might get past the catcher, but the catcher made a great stab and a scoop. And Tanner remains at second. And the count moves full. Here comes the payoff pitch. And that's going to be in there for strike 3. Dade Barbina is going to be punched out by the home plate umpire. And that's going to bring up number 12, Sellers Lynn. I had a great conversation with Sellers Lynn between games here, and he said he is going to go D1 in chess. And that's a strike on the outside part of the plate. He said he's going to go play college chess at a D1 school. He wants to start the SEC program for chess to compete in college chess. And that's going to be a great curveball for strike 2 right across the plate. The count moves to 0-2.
He has 6 Ks through the first 6 hitters. Or excuse me, 7 hitters as he had 1 hit by pitch. Here's the pitch from Miss Wander.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. I would think we're going to see a curveball here. No, that's going to be a fastball off the plate for a ball Tanner Altman's getting an aggressive lead over there at second. If Sellers can poke one into play here, maybe hit a single somewhere. Tanner Altman's got such a good jump, he would probably score if Sellers can poke one to the outfield here. He's going to take off, and that ball is going to be wide. What a jump by Tanner Altman. That might be the best jump on a steal I've seen this tournament. The pitcher was making the same look. He was doing a one look back to second. And Tanner Altman took advantage of it, and he took off, and it was too late for the pitcher to change his course, or else he would have balked anyway. So he did the wise thing and just delivered to the plate and let him have third. We're going to have a 2-2 count here, one out with a runner on third. Sellers, if he puts the ball in play here, he's probably going to score a run, and that's going to be low for ball 3. That moves the count full. We have a scoreboard that says 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out, and we have a time called on the field as field number 2 rudely just hits a foul ball onto our field, and we're going to have to pause the action as the shortstop picks the ball up. That ball made it all the way from the plate at field 2 to the shortstop on field 3. That was quite a foul ball, which makes sense because the pitcher over there on field 2 is bringing some heat. And we also have a timeout called by the Central Clemson coach here as he's going to go out and talk to his pitcher. This is the second batter in a row here. Not in a row, excuse me, but this is the second batter that he went up, no balls, 2 strikes on, and now has a full count. If you remember to Tanner Altman, he went down 0-2 very quickly. Tanner went down 0-2 very quickly in the count in his at-bat, and he came back and ended up walking. And the coach is trying to avoid the same thing here to Sellers. But I think Sellers would gladly take a walk here. And that ball is wide. And Sellers is indeed going to take his base. He's going to make his way down to first. And that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, third baseman Rowan Canaday. I also had a nice conversation with Rowan Canaday between games. He was the one responsible for not diving for a ball down the line that could have kept the 10-run rule intact. So he was the reason that we went into 7 innings last game rather than playing 5. And the pitch is on the way, and that's outside for a ball as Sellers Lynn takes off and steals second. There was no throw down, and so Sellers is in with a stand-up steal there. And we've still got Rowan Canaday here at the plate. And he puts that one in play back to the pitcher. And he might be hung up in a rundown here at third, between third and home.
1-1 count here.
Tanner Altman, the throw is a little wide. He's going to get through. He dives right on top of the catcher's mask, and he's safe. He is safe.
2-1 count now.
What a play. The throw to someone at third was just a little wide, and the guy that was covering third had to dive, and that was given enough time for Tanner Altman to get home safely, and that looked like it hurt as Tanner Altman dove for the plate and landed right on top of the catcher's mask. And with that fielder's choice by the pitcher, Sellers Lynn moves over to third, and Rowan Canaday rounds first and makes it all the way to second. So we've got a runner on second and third with 1 out as Beaufort County jumps out to an early lead here with Michael O'Connell at the plate. And that pitch is low for ball 1.
Up to bat,
His favorite song is
And the 1-0 count
That song was like 10 or 15 years before he was born.
as Luke Turner turns and fires a pickoff move to second. The umpire calls him safe out there.
First pitch to Hayden is outside for ball
Looked
1.
like Rowan wasn't quite ready for a back pick, and he is lucky to make it back safely to second because that was a very good move by Luke Turner.
Here's pitch from Niswanger in the dirt for ball 2.
Now we've got a 1-0 count here. That swung on and missed for a strike, and that's going to even the count at 1-1.
Here's the pitch.
We've got 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, a 0-1 ball game in the first inning. We almost have a magic number there,
3-0 count now on the batter.
but instead we just have Uno's Wild.
Here's the pitch from Niswanger.
And the 1-1 pitch, that's in the dirt for ball 2.
Hitter Hayden Brooks.
Catcher there, Jackson Owenby, does a great job of blocking the ball, keeping the runner at third. Again, we're working with a very short backstop here, so you got to get a really good jump from third in order to make it home on a pass ball. The 2-1 pitch. That's high and inside as Michael O'Connell makes a very good attempt of getting out of the way of the ball. I think that ball may have just hit him in the helmet if he would have stayed in there. And that's going to bring a count to 3 balls and 1 strike after O'Connell goes down to the dirt on that high and tight fastball. Michael O'Connell, one of the very few players I see out here rocking the high pants. And that pitch is high. He's going to make his way down to first. I'm always a fan of the high pants. Show off the socks a little bit. Whenever you run, it makes you look like you're a little faster, even if you're not that fast, in my opinion. And it's just a classic old school kind of look. And that brings up number 7, the second baseman, Heyward Mcelhaney, who actually started the last game at shortstop. That is not his usual position. He usually plays second, but he got the start at shortstop. And that pitch is swung on and fouled straight back for strike 1. Usually when you foul a ball straight back into the fence like that, that means you're right on time and you just got under the ball a little bit. Heyward's looking to do some damage here. If he can poke one to the outfield, then that means he is going to score at least 1 run, probably 2 if he can find a gap in the outfield, maybe even a third if O'Connell has some speed over there. And that ball is chopped foul down to the on-deck circle. And that's going to bring the count to no balls and 2 strikes. And this is a situation we're all too familiar with here with Luke Turner. He's gotten a couple of batters here down 0-2, and they have battled back into the count and made it full. Let's see what happens here on the 0-2 pitch. That's outside for a ball. That's going to bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bases juiced here for Heyward Mcelhaney. Again, looking to do some damage as we have the umpire pointing down the third base line. I think there was something outside of the dugout I can't quite see because there's a net in my way. There's a canopy for the bleachers that are standing in my way, but that is all right. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as Turner looks in. The delivery, and that's in there for strike 3. He's going to punch Heyward Mcelhaney out as he does not take advantage of the bases loaded situation. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, number 6, Alex Arnold, to the plate. And it would be quite a feat here if Luke Turner gets out of this jam, only allowing 1 run. And that's going to be high and inside for a ball as Alex Arnold comes up to the plate again.
Hauser had 7 Ks through the first 8 hitters.
And 1-0 pitch, swung on and fouled over the pine tree. That's a high foul ball if it goes over that pine tree down the right field line. And that evens the count up to 1-1 with 2 outs. And a lot of ducks on the pond here for Beaufort County. And that's right down Broadway for a strike. Alex Arnold takes the pitch. And that moves the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Luke Turner is doing some good work up there on the mound. And that catches a piece of Alex Arnold. He is jumping up and down in pain. It looked like it got him right on the hip bone there. And I know that doesn't feel good. As Sellers Lynn steps on the plate. And that brings home another run as Alex Arnold gets the RBI hit by pitch. Not something you get to hear very often. An RBI hit by pitch. And let's hope, ladies and gentlemen, for Beaufort County that does not affect Alex Arnold on the mound. The hips are a very important part of baseball, hitting and throwing. That's where the core of your hitting and throwing motion comes from. And let's hope that does not affect his game today on the mound. Regardless of what team you're rooting for, that's not something you want to see as a baseball fan. Following that hit by pitch, that brings up number 3, Remington Wheeler, who gets the start at first base today. That ball is fouled back for strike 1 as Luke Turner once again gets out to the early lead. And we have the first base coach running and picking that ball up for the catcher. And tossing it back to the umpire And let's get back to baseball here as we get that ball wrangled in. And that brings the count to no balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. And that's chopped foul at the plate. And Luke Turner, once again, has an 0-2 count on the hitter. As Central Clemson tries to get out of this one. And this is a long half inning here to be standing outside in that heat.
So 1-2 pitch about to come from the pitcher Brody Hauser from Hilton.
The 0-2 pitch on the way.
With a 3-1 lead so far.
And that swung on and missed. Beaufort County scores 2 on the inning as Central Clemson comes to the plate here when we come back. This is the County Channel.
Going to the bottom half of the third. Hillhead leads 3-0 still. You're here on the County Channel. We'll see you in a minute.
Now batting number 2, Ryan Hendricks.
Leading off the inning here for Central Clemson is going to be number 9, Ryan Hendricks, who's getting the start in center field today. As the first pitch crosses for a ball. The count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. And that one's in there for a strike. Even this count at 1-1. I'm going to try and run through this lineup as quickly as I can. Not too quickly, but I'm going to run through the lineup. Starting in center field, number 9, Ryan Hendricks is leading things off, as I mentioned already. And that's going to be put in play, lifted up to the right side. The right fielder comes on. He's going to not make the play. That's going to fall in front of him as he bobbles the ball a little bit. But he gets it back in quickly enough to hold him to a single, as Ryan Hendricks is aboard with a leadoff single. And following that single is going to be number 7, the pitcher, Luke Turner. Hitting in the 3 hole is going to be the third baseman, number 1, Cade Simpson. Batting cleanup today is going to be the second baseman, number 22, Theo Limahu. And there's going to be a pickoff move to first, and he is back safely. Batting 5th, starting at shortstop is going to be number 3, Bradley Runyon, whose dad is the head coach. Playing first and batting 6th is number 2, Cade Simpson, as another pickoff move is made to first. Ball almost got away from Remington there at first, but he corrals it and gets it back to the pitcher. In the 7 hole, batting 7th, number 34, Cade Mcgibbon gets the start in right field. That pitch is swung on. That's going to get past Sellers, and the runner is going to advance to second, but not before the count moves to no balls and 1 strike. Starting in left field in the 8 hole is number 4, Jack Christmas. And DHing in the 9 hole is going to be number 6, Luke Vernon. Luke Vernon is, that's going to be chopped foul. Brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes. Luke Vernon is pinch hitting, or designated hitting, for number 27, Jackson Owenby, who is starting behind the plate. And your substitutes for Central Clemson is number 8, Jayden Hughes. As the 0-2 pitch is on the way. And that's going to be a curveball high for a ball. That evens the count to 2-2 with no outs and a runner on second. At this time, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Palmetto Axes in the Zone, for sponsoring the Dixie Junior and Dixie Boys State Tournament here at Oscar Frazier Park. And that ball is swung on and tapped right in front of the plate as Sellers picks it up, fires it to first for the out. But that does the job and advances the runner from second to third. Luke Turner helps himself out a little bit as he puts the runner to third, and that brings up the third baseman, number 1, Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson has played a pretty good game at third today. The 0-0 pitch here. And that's high for a ball. And that brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. Ty is looking for something that he can just poke and play here. Anything to the right side, up the middle. As long as it gets past the pitcher, that's probably going to score a runner from third. And it'll cut the lead in half. So that's what Ty will be looking for here. And that's low for a ball. And that's going to even the count up. That's going to not even the count up. I apologize. It's going to be a 2-0 count. And we're going to have a balk called here as the umpire says that he was too twitchy on his way down to come set. And I've never seen a balk called for that before. But it is not my call to make.
Bottom of the third, here's the pitch.
Excuse me, I think I've been saying Rylan Hendricks, and his name is Ryan Hendricks. That's who just came across the score after his single. And that ball is chopped foul, so the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike here to Ty Simpson, the third baseman, who plays third and also pitches. He is also a pitcher for Central Clemson. And that pitch is low for a ball. That's going to be a 3-1 count here. As Alex Arnold is working hard out there on the mound for Beaufort County. And Sellers Lynn is behind the plate. Sellers Lynn does a good job keeping that one in front as he blocks that one. And Ty makes his way to first on ball 4. And that's a 1-out walk. And that brings up the second baseman, number 22, Theo Limahu, who I have to keep reminding myself his name is not Lemahew, like the once great LSU Tiger DJ Lemahew, who now plays for the New York Yankees, unfortunately. But he was a great second baseman for LSU. LSU Tiger at heart, even though he is with the New York Yankees. However, Theo's name is pronounced Limahew, even though it looks and is spelled like Lemahew. As there's a pickoff move to first, and Ty is back safely.
His favorite movie is Father of the Bride. That's interesting.
And that ball is hit sharply down the left field line and foul on the left side of third base as Ty Simpson makes his jog back to the first base. If you're Beaufort County, you're looking for a ground ball up the middle here, maybe a little ground ball to the shortstop. And that pitch is low for a ball. And that's going to even the count to 1-1. And speaking of double plays, there was a beautiful double play over on field 2. And Beaufort County is looking for the same thing here. And that ball is hit to the shortstop. He's going to field it, flips it to second. Second baseman fields it, throws it to first. Not in time. They get the runner at second, but not quite in time to get the runner at first. Remington Wheeler did a very good job of catching that ball, keeping it in front of him, and preventing the runner to advance. As Ty Simpson is thrown out at second on the fielder's choice, and Theo is now aboard first. He takes off. He's going to easily steal second as no one was really holding him on, and he got a fantastic jump off the pitcher. The pitcher did not do anything to check his runner and keep him close. So now we have a runner on second with 2 outs.
Brawl 8. Located on
And he's going to steal third. He's going to take off to third. And that's going to be a ground ball to the second baseman. Heyward fields it. He's not going to have time to throw him out at first. He's going to try for a play at the plate. He does not make the play. And that's going to even the ball game up, ladies and gentlemen. Central Clemson has tied the game on the infield single from Bradley Runyon, shortstop. That was a great piece of hitting. That was a great effort and play by
Cade Simpson.
Heyward Mcelhaney out there at second. He unfortunately was not able to get the runner out at first, as Bradley Runyon was absolutely flying down the first base line. And he's going to steal second as well,
Back here on the county channel, field number 2, Oscar Frazier.
as Alex Arnold tried to make a back pick move to second, but the jump was just too good. He needs to do a better job of checking his runner more than once, maybe take a couple of looks. And that ball is going to go right between the runner's legs into center field. Center fielder comes on, stops the ball, and keeps the runner at second base. And batting now for Central Clemson is going to be number 2, Cade Simpson. And that's going to be a strike right down the middle. Looked like an off-speed from Arnold. And that's going to bring the count to no balls and 1 strike, as Cade Simpson digs in once again. And that's going to be right down Broadway again for strike 2. Cade plays second, first, left field, and pitcher. Although today he is getting the start at first base. And that ball is hit sharply to the third baseman, and that's going to get past him into the outfield. And they're going to wave the runner around third. They're going to hold him up as Rowan cuts the ball off at third. He just couldn't quite make the diving stop. And that puts a runner at first and third here, and brings up the right fielder, number 34, Cade Mcgibbon. He is also the head coach. Just kidding. Someone wrote that in on the lineup card. And they're going to have a first and third play here on. And they're going to try and get this runner. Throw back to third. And he's going to be back safely. And that's okay. Worst case scenario is now you have a runner on second and third. So you just have to get the first force out at first. And there is no problem with that. You prevented that runner from scoring. Even though Sellers put his hands on his head in an exasperated way. It is okay, Sellers. That is not the worst case scenario. And we're going to have a timeout here called by Danny Mchelhaney as he walks briskly out to the mound. The pitcher comes out to meet him, but Danny tells him to go back to the mound. We're going to have the conversation there. Whole infield's in on the infield as Sellers is standing on top of the mound, and he towers above everyone, including Danny Mchelhaney. He is a very tall kid. He's also standing on top of the mound. And we are going to break up the meeting as the defense makes their way back to their positions. And Danny makes his walk back to the dugout, just trying to calm everyone down. But it's understandable that their emotions are running high. This is a very high leverage game here. As I remind you, this is for championship implications. If Central Clemson wins this game, they win the championship. And that ball is on the outside part of the plate for a strike as he starts the at-bat. 0-1 to Cade Mcgibbon. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. And that's swung on, put in play to center field. The center fielder makes the play for the second out. And it's a 2-2 ball game as we go into the top of the second inning. This is the County Channel. Welcome back as Jack Zahn in the 9-hole, number 4. Starting in right field is going to lead off the inning here for Beaufort County All-Stars. And Luke Turner is going to go back out on the mound for some more work. As he starts the batter off, you guessed it, lead-off strike. Jack Zahn plays outfield. And that pitch is low for a ball, and that brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. A 1-1 pitch. Check swing for a strike, and that brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that is outside for a ball. That evens the count at 2-2. If we had 2 outs, we would have 2's crazy on the board, as we are tied here at 2 runs apiece in the 2nd inning. And that's low and away for a ball. For ball 3, that fills the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Next up to bat, number 24, Stuart Misko.
And that pitch is chopped on the ground to first base. He's going to easily field that ball, step on the base, and Jack Zahn is retired, as that brings up the leadoff man, Tanner Altman, the center fielder.
Now batting center fielder number 5, Tanner Altman.
So far this tournament.
Now batting center fielder.
Tanner Altman's favorite food is Mexican, and his favorite movie is The Mighty Ducks. Let's see if he can hit a flying V here.
Next up to bat, number 77, Jacob.
And that's swung on and missed for a strike. That was a very good swing. If he would have connected, that would have been a very good hit, I would imagine. That brings up count to no balls and 1 strike, as that pitch is outside, and that evens the count at 1-1. Tanner Altman's favorite team is the Atlanta Braves, and his favorite sports idol is Conor McGregor. And that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike, as that is high and tight. And we have a timeout called by Central Clemson coach. He's going to make a walk out to the mound, and he goes back into the dugout to grab a clipboard. Now he comes back out to the mound. And boy, let me tell you, he is taking his time walking out to the mound here. And he now reaches the mound. And he is now conversing with his pitcher as the infield comes in to have this meeting on the mound. Coach has 1 foot on the dirt and 1 foot on top of the mound. And this conversation is still going here. We should have the umpire go out there to break it up here soon. I would love to be a fly on the wall during that conversation. The pitcher went out there and got a quick out there for the first batter. And now he's working with a 2-1 count to this batter. So you can't really imagine what that coach is going out there to complain about. If it was a complaint, maybe he was just going out there to say, hey. And now we have a 2-1 count with 1 out, no one aboard here. And the meeting was worth it, as that is in for a strike, as Tanner Altman swings and misses. That evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's lifted foul. And that's going to go near the parking lot. Hopefully that didn't hit a windshield. Michael might be able to tell me if it hit a windshield over there. He can see out that window over to my right side. And that's going to be a 2-2 pitch. And he's going to say he went for strike 3. And that's going to be 2 outs here in the 2nd. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Cade Barbina. Cade Barbina struck out looking earlier. But he plays shortstop, second base, pitcher, and outfield. His favorite food is a hamburger. That pitch is high for ball 1. And that starts the count 1 ball and no strikes. His favorite pro baseball team is the Los Angeles Dodgers, even though he is on the opposite coast. That pitch is in there for a strike. Evens it up at 1-1. His favorite sports idol is Barry Sanders. And if you remember from last game, his favorite song is Cats in the Cradle, which I do know, and I listed some of the lyrics. And that's fouled off for a strike. And that brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sorry, I got distracted by the great center field play over on field 2. Cornelius something or other, or something Cornelius. That pitch is inside for a ball. Ladies and gentlemen, we have crazy twos on the board. Here on field 3, we have the score 2-2 in the second inning with 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Go buy a lottery ticket, ladies and gentlemen. Lucky number is 2. And that's going to be a strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate. And we'll go to the bottom half of the second inning. Central Clemson coming to the plate here on the Beaufort County Channel. Clemson is going to be left fielder number 4, Jack Christmas, who, in my opinion, has one of the best names of this tournament, Jack Christmas. That's a pretty solid name. Good job on the parents there. And that pitch is high for a ball. And that brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes here to Jack Christmas. And yes, I am going to use any excuse to say the name Jack Christmas. And that pitch is high, 2 balls and no strikes. At least he's consistent with his calls behind the plate, because that was about the same spot. And we've got a 2-0 count here. And that ball is put in play to the shortstop. He comes on, fields it, fires it over to first, and Remington picks it out of the dirt for a great play as he fires it back to the pitcher. Do not throw the ball around. And 1 out here in the bottom half of the second inning as Jack Christmas grounds out to shortstop and brings up the designated hitter, number 6, Luke Vernon, who, might I remind you, is designated hitting for number 27, Jackson Owenby, who is starting behind the plate. And that pitch is outside and low for a ball as the count moves to 1 ball and no strikes. And I can tell you from experience, whenever you're playing in the field, it is a very bad feeling when you get DH'd for. So I can understand how Jackson Owenby must be feeling in the dugout out there. As Luke Vernon gets hit by the pitch there, that ball just ran in, caught him straight in the middle of the back. And I can also tell you that does not feel good. I can tell you that from first-hand experience. As Luke Vernon makes his way to first, he does not rub it. And that turns the lineup over for the leadoff batter, Ryan Hendricks, as the runner goes, and that ball is laced into left field as the runner rounds second, and he is going to hold up as the throw comes into the third baseman. And Central Clemson has something going here in the bottom of the second. The score is 2-2. 1 out with a runner on first and second. And that brings up the pitcher number 7, Luke Turner.
So 3-1 count now.
That pitch is high and inside,
Here's the pitch.
as that caught a piece of the batter's helmet there. Now the bases are loaded.
Another walk
Next
here.
up to bat, third baseman, number 1, Cade Simpson.
In the first or the second inning.
And that brings up the first baseman, number 1, the third baseman, number 1, Cade Simpson, who has walked once today. And it seems
Strikeout.
that Alex Arnold is
Hauser's ready for
having a little trouble finding the zone here in the second inning.
pulled back, and it's in there for a strike. So 0-1
And that's
count.
wide for ball 1. And the count moves to 1 ball and no strikes.
Number 5.
Here to Cade Simpson, whose favorite food is chicken, and his favorite movie is 42.
Man on first base.
And that ball is chopped on the ground to the shortstop. He's going to field the ball, go to second, and not enough time for the second baseman to throw the ball to first. So they're going to trade a run for an out there, as Cade Simpson gets the RBI 6-4 fielder's choice.
Number 22, Theo Lemahew.
And when I say 6'4", for those of you that don't know at home, that is the number of the position. So a shortstop is number 6, and the second baseman is number 4. The runner goes. Cade Simpson stole the base easily without even a glance from the pitcher. He was on second before the ball was even thrown to the plate. Alex Arnold needs to have a little bit more attention there to the base paths.
Extra bases there.
And that brings up the second baseman, number 22, Theo Limahu, as that ball is grounded to the shortstop. He fields the ball. He's going to fire it over to first, not in time. That's going to be an RBI infield single, as Central Clemson jumps out to a 4-2 lead here in the second inning.
Next up to bat for Central Clemson, their shortstop, number 3, Bradley Runyon.
Runner on first base, though.
And now we have a runner on first and second
He's ready for the strike.
with 2 outs.
Pitch. Swung on and fouled.
And digging into the plate here is going to be the shortstop, number 3, Bradley Runyon, who has an RBI single already on the day. He enjoys eating cheeseburgers, and his favorite movie is The Sandlot, as the first pitch is outside for a ball. His favorite pro baseball team is the Braves, and his favorite sports idol is Dansby Swanson, best shortstop in the MLB.
So another strikeout for Hauser.
That pitch runs inside. That's going to be behind the batter, as Sellers,
Next up to bat, number 2.
working hard back there behind the plate, goes and picks the ball up, and he overthrows the pitcher. And thankfully, Heyward is paying attention, and he goes and picks the ball up, and the runner cannot advance from third.
Leadoff walk.
However, the count moves to 2 balls and no strikes, as Alex Arnold quickly goes into hole to the batter, and he's going to work from the windup here with a runner on second and third.
Hauser ready, and here's the pitch.
And that's swung on and missed for strike 1, as I am just echoing my counterpart on field 2. He had the exact same situation happen, and we said the exact same words.
So 0-1 pitch is Hauser.
And that is low and outside for ball 3. The count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike to Bradley Runyon. Bradley Runyon is batting from the left side here, and if you remember, he hit the ground ball to the second baseman that the second baseman had to range for deeply, and that's what was allowed the runner to score from third last inning, as the third base coach picks up that dribbling foul ball and gives it back to the pitcher there. And the count moves to 3 balls and 2 strikes, as Central Clemson leads this game 4 runs to 2. And that ball is hit on a line to the center fielder. That's going to fall in play, and the throw home is going to be almost cut off by the pitcher, and the runner is going to advance to second as Sellers tries to gun him down at second. And that throw is too high, gets past the second baseman, and the runner scores from third. In hindsight, Sellers probably should not have thrown that ball, but he was trying to be aggressive and get the runner on a back pick, and that's going to be a 2 RBI single from Bradley Runyon. And Bradley Runyon now notches 3 RBIs, and we have a time called by the batter. And that's going to bring up number 2, Cade Simpson. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Cade Simpson hit a single earlier today. His favorite food is Chinese, and his favorite movie is also 42. And 42 is a movie about Jackie Robinson and his baseball journey and how he got started. And that pitch is right down Broadway for a strike. And that quickly gets Cade Simpson in a hole. No balls and 2 strikes. And the 0-2 pitch is wide for ball 1. That moves the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cade Simpson's favorite baseball team is the Braves, and his favorite sports idol is Austin Riley. And the off-speed pitch is lifted into right field. Right fielder is under it. He makes the catch. And that ends the inning. And we will see you back here in the top of the 3rd. This is the County Channel. Leading off the inning here for Beaufort County All-Stars is going to be the catcher, number 12, Sellers Lynn. And he's going to hit a dribbler to the third baseman as he fields it and throws it over to first as Sellers very lackadaisically jogs to first base. He had no interest in hustling down the line there.
Now batting third baseman.
And you just don't like to see that. He completely gave up on that play. And the third baseman was able to field it and make the easy throw over to first. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, Rowan Canaday. And that pitch runs inside and gets a piece of him. And again, that does not feel good. It looks like it caught him on the elbow, on his left side, the left elbow. And that's just about one of the worst places you can get hit by a pitch. And sometimes you'll see these hitters have elbow guards. And the elbow guard is to prevent that exact thing from happening. And you think maybe now, after getting hit like that, Rowan might invest in one. And following that hit by pitch, we're going to see number 8, Michael O'Connell.
Now pitching for Lada, number 23, Logan Bird.
Been a pretty evenly matched game so far.
Michael O'Connell plays shortstop, third base, and pitcher. And over on field 1, we have Logan Bird pitching, who, if you remember, here on field 3 a couple of nights ago, hit an absolute nuke over the left center field fence. And the first pitch to O'Connell is low for ball 1 as the catcher blocks that one up out of the dirt.
2-1 pitch
Now batting for Beaufort County.
And the 1-0 pitch is going to run inside for ball 2. Michael O'Connell jumped out of the way of that one. And that brings count to 2 balls and no strikes with Rowan Canaday on first base. He's going to take off, and that pitch is inside for a ball, and Rowan is safely in at second with a stolen base. And that puts a runner in scoring position as the count moves to 3 balls, no strikes with 1 out and a runner on second. Beaufort County is down 6-2 in the top of the 3rd inning. Michael O'Connell's favorite pro team is the Boston Red Sox, and his favorite sports idol is Xander Bogaerts. And there's a pickoff move to second with no throw. So Rowan is back safely, and he keeps looking at his elbow to see if a bruise has developed. I can tell you, Rowan, you won't see a bruise until tomorrow morning. But maybe if you're lucky, you'll see some lace marks on there. And that ball is going to run up and in for ball 4 to Michael O'Connell as he turns around to make sure that that was indeed ball 4. And the umpire tells him, yes, indeed, that is ball 4. You can make your way down to first. And that's exactly what he does.
Number 7, Heyward Mcelhaney.
And that brings up the second baseman, number 7, Heyward Mcelhaney. McElhaney enjoys eating chicken tenders, and his favorite movie is Forrest Gump. And that first pitch catches the inside part of the plate for a strike, and he quickly falls to no balls and 1 strike. Heyward's favorite pro baseball team is the Atlanta Braves. And on the Atlanta Braves, he really enjoyed watching Freddie Freeman, even though he's a Dodger now. And that ball is dribbled back to the pitcher. The pitcher's going to pick it up, throw it to first, and that throw was a little high, but he came back down on the base for the out, as Heyward just couldn't quite beat out the throw. And that's going to be the second out of the inning. And that brings up number 6, the pitcher, Alex Arnold, as Heyward is trying to figure out what he did at that at-bat. I think he was just a little late getting that swing, and that's why he hit it near the hands of the bat, near his handle. And that was just a little dribbler back to the pitcher. Alex Arnold earlier was hit by a pitch right in the hip. And the first pitch to Arnold is low for a ball. His favorite food is pizza from New York, and I can honestly say I've never had a New York slice, but I would enjoy one. And after I said that, Harry Perry gave me an exasperated sigh as though I need to try it. And that ball is away and brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Harry Perry is on the microphone today for this game. If you're at the game listening, he's the one that is announcing all of the names as the Central Clemson coach calls timeout here, and he's going to make his way out to the pitching mound again, and I think he's walking slower than he did the first time he called a timeout. He is just out there going for a Sunday stroll, making his way out to the mound, as Rowan Canaday is now standing on third talking to his coach, and he is hinging his elbow to make sure that he still has his full range of motion. I know that elbow is not feeling good there, Tanner. Excuse me, Rowan. That's Rowan. And this meeting is going on for quite some time here. The umpire should probably go out there and break it up. And the coach is going to break it up himself as he makes his way back to the mound. He does a little 360. Sorry, he does a 180 and goes right back to talk to the pitcher. And now he is going back to the dugout. He is making his way off of the field. And he is off of the field. Let's get back to baseball here, ladies and gentlemen. Count here is 2 balls and no strikes, as Luke Turner continues his work on the mound with 2 outs. And that is inside for a ball, as Alex Arnold really wants to swing the bat here. Count moves to 3 balls and no strikes. And the pitch right down the middle for strike 1. And with as eager as Alex Arnold is to swing, you wonder if maybe he had the take sign there. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. Runner on second and third with 2 outs. And that's wide for ball 4. as Alex Arnold makes his way down to first. And his day is still 0 for 0 with a hit by pitch and a walk. Following that walk brings up Remington Wheeler, who struck out earlier in the game. Remington plays third, catches, and pitches, although today he is getting the start at first base, and he is playing quite well over at first. That pitch is high for ball 1, as Remington Wheeler is also seemingly eager to hit. Remington's favorite food is crab legs, and his favorite movie is The Sandlot. That pitch is right down the middle for a strike. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Remington Wheeler, if he can put one in play here, find a gap in the outfield, that might score 3 runs. The runner should be running on contact here with 2 outs, and that's in the dirt for ball 2. Remington, like so many others on this team, his favorite team is Atlanta Braves, and his favorite sports idol is Freddie Freeman. Great baseball player, that Freeman. And that pitch is high for ball 3. That brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. And the way that I would describe Luke Turner's pitching style is effectively wild. And I'll explain that to you in a second. And that pitch is right down the middle for a strike as Remington Wheeler fouls it off. Effectively wild is whenever you throw around the plate a little bit, and then whenever you do throw a strike, the batters usually swing at it because it's a pitch that's really well located and induces a ground ball or a fly out. That's what we've seen a lot of in between these walks. And that pitch is low for ball 4. And he walks Remington Wheeler with nowhere to put him as he moves to first, and that scores a run. And that's an RBI walk.
Now batting right fielder number 4, Jack. Zahn.
Now the interesting thing there is the coach for Beaufort County did not have those runners running with a full count and 2 outs. So on the delivery of that pitch, they should have taken off in case the ball was put in play. The Central Clemson coach is now going to take a timeout and make his way to the mound. We're going to have a pitching change, and we'll let you know who that is when we come back to the Beaufort County channel.
Final pitch count.
Welcome back here as I have to make a quick announcement on the PA as Harry Perry had to run to the restroom. I'm going to make it after this pitch here.
Now batting number 4.
That ball is put in play up the middle. That's going to be a single, and that's going to score 1 run, and they're going to hold the runner up there. And again, that shows not the best job of coaching there because the runner at second should have taken off on contact, and it looked like he was still a little hesitant. But that still scores a run. Jack Zahn with the RBI single there. And thank you to Matt Watts for announcing that name for Tanner Altman, who earlier in this game, that's a ball in the dirt. And that brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. Tanner Altman so far has walked and struck out today. And before I forget, the second baseman has now come in to pitch for Central Clemson. That's number 22, Theo Lemahew. Theo Lemahew from second base is now in to pitch for Central Clemson. And that pitch is outside for ball 2. And that brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes to Tanner Altman, whose favorite singer is Zach Bryan, and he enjoys playing football in addition to baseball. That pitch is in the dirt for a ball. And that brings the count to 3 balls and no strikes. And if I'm the coach here, I am absolutely giving Tanner Altman the green light. He has proved earlier in this tournament that he can swing the bat very well. And that pitch is going to be high, and that's going to bring in another run as Tanner Altman gets the RBI walk. And after that walk, that's going to bring up the shortstop, number 1, Cade Barbina, who has scuffled a little bit at the plate so far today with 2 strikeouts looking. And he's looking to turn his day around so far. And that pitch is low for a ball. And this pitcher has thrown 1 strike, and it was hit for a single. And following that strike, he has thrown 5 balls in a row here. Theo is looking to battle back into this count here and fire a strike and really find that groove. As Cade Barbina digs in, there's a pickoff move to first. Bases loaded, and first base is where this pitcher decides to pick off to. And he's going to step back up on the mound, and it looks like Cade Barbina was going to take that pitch no matter where it was thrown. His knees are locked right now, and that's in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't think Cade Barbina was going to swing at that pitch. I think that is his stance for when he bats, but I do not think he had an intention of swinging the bat there after the pitcher threw 5 balls in a row. And that one's put in play, hit out to the shortstop, and he's going to flip it over to second for the fielder's choice and the out. But Beaufort County battles back in, and we'll be right back on the Beaufort County channel. Off the inning here for Central Clemson is going to be the right fielder, number 34, Cade Mcgibbon, as Alex Arnold comes back to the mound to start his third inning of work. And the first pitch is low and away for a ball, as Mcgibbon jumps out to the early lead in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. And that ball is hit on the ground to the second baseman. Mcelhaney ranges and throws to first. The first baseman drops the ball, and Mcgibbon is going to be safe at first. Safe at first for Mcgibbon.
Number 4, Jack Christmas.
And that's going to bring up Jack Christmas with a runner on first and nobody out. And there's a pickoff move to first, and back in time. Beaufort County is going to be looking for a ground ball somewhere here so that they can erase that error off the board and get back in this one. Jack Christmas's favorite food is steak, and his favorite movie is Top Gun Maverick. And runner's going to take off. Hit and run called there, and that's going to be thrown over the second baseman's head, and that's going to be caught by the backup guy, Heyward Mcelhaney, there to back up the throw, as Cade Mcgibbon has a successfully stolen base, and Jack Christmas swung at that pitch that was well high and well outside, as it was a hit and run called. And that is high for ball 1. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, for those of you that don't know, when a hit and run is called, the batter at the plate is supposed to swing no matter where the pitch is thrown. Even if the ball bounces in the dirt halfway between the mound and the plate, the batter is supposed to swing. And that is why he swung at that ball that was thrown, as Alex Arnold makes a move to second to keep him honest and hopefully prevent him from stealing third. And the 1-1 pitch swung on and fouled into the fencing here. Yes, that went into the fencing, because that is very important. And that's going to bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It looks like we're resuming here as JT.
And that pitch is outside. Sellers got a little lazy there on his reach, and that's going to get past him and allow the runner to move from second to third here. And it evens the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And just to remind everyone, we're in the bottom of the 3rd inning here. Beaufort County jumped out to an early 2-0 lead, and then in the bottom of the 1st, Central Clemson came back and scored 2 runs of their own, and that is inside for a ball that fills the count. Central Clemson came and scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd, and then in the top half of the 2nd, Beaufort County did not score, and Central Clemson put 4 more runs on the board to go lead 6-2. That pitch is outside for ball 4, as Jack Christmas makes his way down to first base, and that's going to bring up number 6, Luke Vernon, the designated hitter.
Now batting DH, number 6.
After Central Clemson scored 4, in the top of the 3rd, Beaufort County came back and scored 3. And that's where we're at now in the bottom of the 3rd, as Central Clemson leads 6-5 with a runner on first and third with nobody out. As Vernon squares to bunt, there's going to be a picked up by the pitcher. He's just going to throw it over to first, as that no-out error comes back to haunt Beaufort County, and that run comes across, and that moves the score to 7 runs to 5 runs, and the runner advances to second as Luke Vernon lays down a beautiful sacrifice bunt, and Ryan Hendricks is now at the plate. That pitch is low for a ball, as Sellers can't quite bring it in. And the runner is going to move from second to third. And the count moves to 1 ball and no strikes, so runner on third with 1 out for Ryan Hendricks, who has singled twice so far today. He is a single machine so far. And that's going to be laced into the left center gap. And the center fielder makes a good angle. He's going to pick the ball up, fire it into second base, and they're going to get him at second base. They are going to get him out at second base as Ryan Hendricks tries to stretch the single into a double. And that was a very interesting play, but not before the RBI comes in. And that's going to be an RBI single thrown out at second, trying to stretch the single to the double. So that still does go down in the books as a single. And that's going to bring up Luke Turner as a first pitch off speed is hit out to center field, and the center fielder makes the play as Central Clemson scores 2. And we're going to head into the top of the 4th inning. This is the Beaufort County Channel. Back to the county channel here as Sellers Lynn leads it off for Beaufort County as that pitch comes in as a strike. And if you remember last time at bat, Sellers Lynn hit a dribbler down the third base line and really just made a easy jog over to first as the third baseman was able to pick it up and throw him out. And that pitch is low and away for a ball as it gets past the catcher. Sellers Lynn's favorite food is a corn dog, and his favorite movie, get this, is Smokey and the Bandit. His favorite sports idol is Stone Cold Steve Austin. As that pitch is swung on, and that's going to find a hole on the left side of the infield, and Sellers is aboard with a leadoff single.
Now batting third base.
Following that single is going to be the third baseman, Rowan Canaday, which, if you remember, he is the one that got hit in the elbow, and he seems to be swinging the bat okay. He was taking some nice warm-up swings on deck. In his free time, he likes to play PlayStation, and when he grows up, he wants to be in the MLB. And that pitch is high for a ball as the catcher tries to back pick to first, unsuccessfully, as Sellers is able to get back in time. And Rowan Canaday he knows how to swing the bat. He's in the 4-hole today. And that pitch is swung on and fouled straight back into the fence here for a strike. He was right on that one. He just maybe pulled his head out a little bit too early. As we have a lot of activity going on up here in the press box. We've got some sweeping action going on as we have someone sweeping up the press box. Thank you to Miss Shannon Loper for sweeping the press box for us and keeping it clean. And that's going to be a ball. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to Rowan Canaday here in the 8-5 ball game. And Rowan Canaday was trying to even the game up there with 1 swing, even though that would have been a 2-run ball game and it would not have tied the game. He was absolutely trying to hit a 3-run home run. And that's going to even the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes as Sellers Lynn is aboard first. And Rowan Canaday at the plate. That pitch is swung on and hit to the shortstop. Shortstop's going to field it. He doesn't have time to go to second, but he fires it over to first, and that's going to be an out. As Sellers is in at second, and Rowan is retired at first. A good heads-up play by the shortstop to crash in, field that ball, cut it off, and make the play to first. And that's going to bring up number 8, the left fielder Michael O'Connell, who has walked earlier in the game. His favorite song is Hall of Fame by The Script. And besides baseball, he enjoys playing foosball. And the off-speed pitch is inside for a ball. Kind of fooled Michael O'Connell there. He thought it was going to come at him, and it did break, but not quite enough to get some of the plate there. And the count moves to 1 ball and no strikes. And that is in there for a strike at the letters for 1 ball and 1 strike to Michael O'Connell with Sellers Lynn on second and 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. And there's a back pick to second. That's going to get past the second baseman if Sellers Lynn is going to stay there. Come have a blast at the Zone, featuring escape rooms, ninja courses, baseball cages with hit tracks. It's an all-new, all-in-one, one-of-a-kind family entertainment for all ages. Located on Buckwalter Parkway, right next to Cinemark. And we still have a 1-1 count here with 1 out to Michael O'Connell. And that pitch is swung on and missed. And that moves the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Theo Lemahew is still working hard out there on the mound. In his free time, Michael O'Connell enjoys hat collecting and ant farming. And that's a ball in the dirt. Low. That evens the count to 2-2. When Michael O'Connell grows up, he wants to be a stockbroker. Go ahead and move over to Wall Street, buddy. That pitch is lifted in the air to right field. The right fielder looks like he has a beat on it. He makes the play, throws the ball in. That's going to be cut off by the second baseman. And that's going to be 2 down here in the 3rd inning. That brings up the second baseman, Heyward Mcelhaney. Heyward so far has struck out looking and dribbled one back to the pitcher, who was able to flip it over to first. Heyward's favorite song is First Class by Morgan Wallen. He enjoys hunting, fishing, and skeet shooting in his spare time. Here's the 0-0 pitch with 2 outs, and that's going to be high for a ball, and that's going to be a attempted pick off to second, as Sellers Lynn is going to round third. He's going to go home, and there's a play at the plate, not in time. Sellers is going to come around to score, as the catcher tried to back pick to second after the ball thrown to Heyward, and that ball just sailed on him, got into center field, and on the throw, Sellers took off. And it just happened, he got lucky that the ball was overthrown, and he was able to round third and score. And that's going to bring the score to 8-6 as Beaufort County takes advantage of the mistake made there. And the 1-0 pitch to Heyward here. And that's hit in play right back to the pitcher. Flip to first, and that's going to be an out. But Beaufort County does what they can. They score a run. And it's going to be an 8-6 ball game when we come back on the Beaufort County Channel.
ready. And here's the pitch.
Leading off the inning here for Central Clemson is going to be number 1, Cade Simpson, who so far has walked and grounded into a fielder's choice. Shortstop to second base. But it was recorded as an RBI, and we have a few defensive changes here for Beaufort County, as Heyward is now behind the plate, and it looks like Sellers is at first, and Remington moves over to second. I cannot tell if there's any other differences, but I think that should be it. And that's inside for a ball, and that brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes, as that pitch is over. That ball is overthrown back to the pitcher. Cade Simpson's favorite pro baseball team is the Yankees, and his favorite sports idol is Jackie Robinson. And that pitch is swung on. That's going to find a hole on the left side of the infield. And Cade Simpson is boarded with a leadoff single. And following that single is going to be the pitcher, number 22, Theo Limahu. Theo Lemahew's favorite food is a burrito, and his favorite movie is Die Hard, which has now, I think, been deemed as a Christmas movie. It's just like Harry Potter. I don't know how those are considered Christmas movies, but those movies are always showed at Christmas time.
All right, Rob.
The 0-0 pitch. In there, off speed for a strike. That brings the count to no balls and 1 strike to Theo Limahu, who so far has grounded into a fielder's choice and an RBI single. And the fielder's choice again was shortstop to second base. And that pitch is outside for a ball, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure how familiar Remington Wheeler is at second, because he is playing very far over to the right. That is not what we call double play depth. And that ball is lifted in the air on the left side. The left fielder's running in to make the play, and he overruns the ball. That's going to fall over his head as he throws the ball in. And that's going to be a single for Cade Simpson, for Theo Lemahew. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, Bradley Runyon, number 3. Bradley Runyon so far has 3 RBIs on 2 singles in the game, as the shortstop bounces back and forth to keep the runner close at second. Alex Arnold still working hard on the mound up there. And we are in the bottom half of the 4th inning here. Score is 8-6. Central Clemson leads. No outs. Runner on first and second. Bradley Runyon, favorite artist is Morgan Wallen. Besides baseball, he plays basketball. The 0-0 pitch is lifted into center field as the center fielder comes on, makes the play. The runner's going to tag up. There's going to be a throw to third. The ball comes in, and that's going to be in time. He's out at third. What a catch and throw from the center fielder, and a great play by Rowan at third to make the tag. But on that play, the runner moves from first to second and out in center field. Great play by Tanner Altman. That was a fantastic throw down to third on the attempted tag up from second to third. Tanner Altman gunned him down at third. And that's going to bring up number 2, Cade Simpson, the first baseman. Actually, I am going to change my mind, as the coach is going to call in a substitute. Number 8, Jayden Hughes, is going to come in to hit for what we assume to be Cade Simpson. Jayden Hughes, number 8, plays third base and center field. His favorite food is chicken, and his favorite movie is It. And that is a very scary favorite movie.
2-0 pitch coming from Baker.
And I can personally say I've never seen it, because I do not do horror movies. And the 0-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Jayden Hughes' favorite pro baseball team is the Braves, and his favorite sports idol is LeBron James. LeBron James. And the 0-1 pitch here. 2 outs with a runner on second. The runner goes, and that's swung on and missed as Heyward fires it down to third, and that ball bounces before it gets to third, but Rowan was able to catch it down there, keep the runner at third. But that is a successful steal, and that's going to bring the count to no balls and 2 strikes. And the third pitch is low and away for a ball. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Looks like we're about ready to resume as Hilton Head just needs 1 run.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch.
To their next game.
That's going to be an off-speed, hit hard on the left side, foul. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes as Alex Arnold tries to work himself out of this one. And it looks like he's going to not even look at his left fielder who went and tracked that ball down in foul territory. And his left fielder is now set as the pitch comes. And that's going to be outside for a ball as Heyward has to basically dive out in the other batter's box to catch that one and keep it in front. Good job by the catcher there. And then brings the count to 2-2 as Jayden Hughes is looking for an RBI single here. If he puts one in play for a single, that's going to score a run and extend this lead for Central Clemson. Here's the 2-2 pitch, 2 outs. That ball is swung on and dribbled foul as the runner on third is going to pick that up and throw it back to the pitcher. And that's a very odd scene as the runner on third picked it up and threw it to first. Threw it to the pitcher, not to first. And the 2-2 pitch is high for a ball. And that's going to fill the count there. So we've got a 3-2 count with 2 outs and a runner on third in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-run ball game here on field 3. That ball is put in play, lined, foul. That's going to fall in foul territory. And if that would have dropped down in fair territory, that would have easily been a double. But the left fielder picks it up in foul territory and throws the ball in to the coach, Danny Mchelhaney, who cannot handle the throw. As we are set to deliver another 3-2 pitch, the payoff pitch. That's going to be swung on and missed as Jayden Hughes is frustrated with himself. And we're going to be back on the Beaufort County Channel. Leading off here for Beaufort County in the top half of the 5th inning is going to be the pitcher, Alex Arnold. Alex Arnold in his free time enjoys sports and anything outdoors. And when he grows up, he wants to be an MLB player. He's been working very hard on the mound today. And that pitch is high for ball 1 as Theo throws that pitch and does a little spinny move there. And I'm getting yelled at from the bottom of the stairs here, but I can't answer because I am live on air. And that is on the outside part of the plate for a strike, and that evens the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that brings the score to 1 ball and 1 strike. And that crosses for another strike to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Doing anything while somebody else is yelling upstairs.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Lemahew. That's going to be outside for a ball. That evens the count to 2-2. Alex Arnold so far has been hit by a pitch and he walked. So he is 0 for 0 on the day. But he has reached base successfully twice, so his on-base percentage is 1,000 as he swings and misses for strike 3. And I should not have opened my mouth.
Now batting first baseman.
And following that strikeout, that's going to bring up number 3, first baseman Remington Wheeler. Remington so far has struck out and recorded an RBI walk. That first pitch is low for a ball as the ball rolls between his legs and catcher picks it up and throws it back to the pitcher there. Remington's favorite song is No Hands by Waka Flocka. Other than baseball, he enjoys playing football, hunting, and fishing. And that ball is lifted in the right side. That's going to get down for a 1-out single as Remington Wheeler is aboard. The right fielder comes on and fields the ball and throws it into second.
Left fielder, number 4.
And that's going to bring up the right fielder, number 4, Jack Zahn.
Jack Zahn.
And that is not Jackson, that is Jack Zahn. And that's fouled off straight back for a strike. So far today, Jack Zahn has grounded out to the first baseman unassisted, and he has had an RBI single. His favorite artist is Juice WRLD, as we're going to take another second of silence in memoriam of Juice WRLD. R.I.P. to Juice. The 0-1 pitch is hit high in the air. On the infield, the first baseman makes the play. He calls off the pitcher for out number 2. And that's going to be the second out of the inning.
Now batting for Beaufort County, center fielder number 5.
And that brings up the center fielder, Tanner Altman. And let's see what he can do at the plate here following that fantastic play he had in center field to gun the runner down at third and save a run that last inning. He's been putting together quite a good tournament so far. That pitch is inside for a strike. So far today, he has walked, struck out, and walked. And the second walk there was an RBI single. Or an RBI walk, I apologize, not a single. I literally just said it was a walk, and then I changed it to a single. It was definitely a walk. As the pickoff move to first is unsuccessful, Remington Wheeler dives back in time. Tanner Altman has been playing a very good center field so far this tournament. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's going to be low and away for ball 1. That evens the count up at 1-1 with 2 outs, a runner on first, as Beaufort County still trails 8-6 in the top half of the 5th inning. The 1-1 pitch. And that's chopped foul down the left field line. Gets past the third base coach there. Coaching third today for Beaufort County is going to be Shane Lather, whose favorite pro baseball team is the Houston Astros. Attaboy, Shane. Own It. His favorite artist is George Strait. And he enjoys duck hunting in his free time. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that's swung on, put in play, and that's going to drop in front of the right fielder. Remington is going to be safe at second base. That may have been a questionable call, as Remington Wheeler really slowed up and really broke down before he stepped on second there. And that call could have gone either way. That was a bang-bang play, as Tanner Altman is successfully aboard with a single with 2 outs, and that's going to bring up the lead, the shortstop, Dade Barbina, who has struck out twice and hit into a ground out to the shortstop. The first pitch to him is in there for a strike, as he is wondering where that was in the zone. Don't worry about where that was called, Dade. Just get back in there and worry about the next pitch. Dade Barbina plays football and track, and that ball is swung on and fouled straight back for a strike. And he quickly falls to no balls and 2 strikes here to Theo Limahu, who is working real hard out there on the mound. And we've got a hot one out there today, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to drink your water and stay hydrated. We've got a runner on first and second with 2 outs. The 0-2 pitch is in there for strike 3. Dade Barbina strikes out for the 3rd time today. And we'll be back on the Beaufort County channel.
Pitch count for Theo Lemahew, 40. Leadoff batter for Central Clemson.
Starting inning here for Central Clemson is going to be the right fielder, number 34, Cade Mcgibbon. And out there on the mound now for Beaufort County is Ben Rush, as that pitch is wide for ball 1 to start the inning. And Mcgibbon is off to a 1-0 start here. Cade Mcgibbon so far has flied out to the center fielder and flown out to the right fielder and reached on an error by the first baseman. And that pitch is across for a strike. And that evens the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. As all around us we have a great day of baseball. Field 2 has finished their second game. And they're getting that field ready for the next one. That ball is put in play on the right side. Remington Wheeler can't quite get to it, and that's going to get through to the right fielder for a leadoff single from Cade Mcgibbon. And that will bring up Jack Christmas, the left fielder, number 4. Jack Christmas so far today has grounded out and walked. His favorite sports idol is the best player in the NFL, Joe Burrow, who actually has a giraffe named after him in the Baton Rouge Zoo. As that ball is thrown low, and the runner at first stole. So he is aboard second successfully with a stolen base. And yes, there is a giraffe in the Baton Rouge Zoo named Joe, named after Joe Burrow. And that's a strike. That brings the count to 1-1. The giraffe was named Joe after the 2019 season when Joe Burrow led LSU to the best football season in college football history.
You are so dramatic.
And here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is hit on the ground to the second baseman. Remington fields it, throws it over to first, and he is out at first, but that advances the runner from second to third. And there is one down here in the bottom of the 5th.
Now batting DH.
And that brings up the designated hitter, number 6, Luke Simpson. Excuse me, not Luke Simpson. Luke Vernon. I'm not quite sure where I got Luke Simpson there.
That's your ball game, folks.
There's no Luke Simpson. There's a Luke Vernon. And that's low for ball 1.
Congratulations, Beaufort County.
I apologize to Luke Vernon's family for saying that he was Luke Simpson. He is Luke Vernon, and he enjoys spaghetti, and his favorite movie is Undrafted.
Coaches, please remember to come on.
And that ball is swung on and lined out to center field for an RBI single. Clearly, Luke Vernon forgives me for the mistake because he has now hit an RBI single.
Now batting center fielder number 9.
And that's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, number 9, Ryan Hendricks. And Ryan Hendricks has had quite a day at the plate. That's his 4th single of the day for Ryan Hendricks. He is absolutely having a day at the plate there.
Number 7, Luke Turner.
And that's going to move the runner over from first to second. So there's a runner on first and second with one out in this 9-6 ball game that Central Clemson leads. And that's going to bring up the number 2 hitter, number 7, Luke Turner. That ball is swung on and hit in the air in foul territory. That's going to fall just on the other side of the fence there. Out of play for strike 1. The count goes to 1 ball, no balls, and 1 strike. As Luke Turner so far today has grounded out to the catcher, been hit by a pitch, flown out to the center fielder, and has hit an RBI single. When he grows up, he wants to be a dentist. That ball is fouled straight back. That's going to land on the roof of the press box. It does. That's going to come back. And, a fan for Beaufort County almost made a great play on the ball, but couldn't quite get it. And that's going to bring the count to no balls and 2 strikes. 1 out with a runner on first and second here. Luke Turner at the plate. And that's going to be high for ball 1. That moves the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Ben Rush works on the mound up there. That pitch is hit in the air to the left side. Center fielder is going to move over, and the left fielder is going to call him off and make the play. Center fielder was ready to make the diving play, but the left fielder was camped under the ball. And that's going to be out number 2 on the inning, as that made me nervous. I thought there may have been a collision out in center field because Tanner Altman was running full speed. But it all worked out in the end, and that's going to be 2 outs with a runner on first and second with Cade Simpson digging into the plate to try and extend this lead for Central Clemson. That ball is hit foul for strike 1. A lot of foul balls in this game. Cade Simpson so far has walked, hit into an RBI 6'4" fielder's choice, and hit a single. His favorite genre of music is rap, and that's going to be fouled off into the pine trees down the right field line for strike 2 as Ben Rush quickly climbs up in this count. No balls and 2 strikes. When he grows up, Ty Simpson wants to be a baseball player. And that ball is going to be hit on the ground as the ball gets past Rowan Canaday. Shortstop picks it up, fires it over to first, not in time. When Rowan Canaday had his glove flipped the wrong way to try and field that ball, he went down to try and stab it on a backhand, and he really should have kept his glove turned the other way and fielded it between his legs. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, number 22, Theo Lemahew, who so far has grounded into a fielder's choice, shortstop to second base, had an RBI single and another single. So he is 2 for 3 on the day. And that pitch is low in the dirt for ball 1 as Heyward blocks that one, keeps the runner at third. Theo Lemahew's favorite pro baseball team is the Milwaukee Brewers. And his favorite song is Life Goes On by Lil Baby. And that pitch is in the air, foul territory. The catcher is going to attempt to make the play, and that drops. He does not make the play, but that still goes down as a strike. Theo enjoys watching sports and hanging out with his friends in his spare time. When he grows up, he wants to be an MLB player or a real estate agent. And the pitch on the way here from Ben Rush is outside for ball 2, and that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, Ben Rush is trying to get his team back in the dugout here so they can get their chance to bat. And that pitch is high for a ball. And if he walks this guy here, he has nowhere to put him. If Theo draws a walk here, he's going to score a run. Here comes the 3-1 pitch with the bases loaded. That's going to be ball 4. And that will indeed score a run. That's going to bring the score to 10 runs to 6. Central Clemson leads it.
Runyon.
And that's going to bring up Bradley Runyon to the plate, the shortstop. Batting from the left side here. And that ball is lifted in the air to the left side. The left fielder is under it. He makes the grab. And we'll be back in the top of the 6th inning. This is the County Channel.
For Ben Rush, 21.
Back here at the Leo Vanoni Memorial Field at Oscar Frazier Park, Sellers Lynn is leading off the inning for Beaufort County. And on the mound for Central Clemson with a foul ball strike is going to be number 3, Bradley Runyon. So that's a defensive substitution for Central Clemson. Replacing Theo Lemahew is going to be Bradley Runyon. The score is now 10-6 in Central Clemson's favor, as that pitch is an off-speed high for ball 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike here in the top of the 6th inning. Sellers' hobbies include bird watching. And that's going to be low and inside for a ball.
New pitcher on the mound for Central Clemson, number 3, Bradley Runyon.
He said just last weekend he made a trip a little bit north in South Carolina to find the feckled finch. That's been on his list for a while of birds that he wanted to see. And that pitch is high for ball 3. Sellers has high aspirations in his life. When he grows up, he wants to be a mall cop, and I really hope he's been practicing his Segway riding, because that is a very important part. That's an important part of being a mall cop, as that pitch is fouled off for strike 2, and that runs the count full. As we will have a 3-2 payoff pitch on the way to Sellers Lynn, who so far today has walked, grounded out to the third baseman, and hit a single through the left side. And that is fouled off as Sellers Lynn keeps his at-bat alive. Regardless of the outcome of the game, Beaufort County consistently this tournament has had great at-bats. Whenever they can, they really work that pitcher. They try and get that pitch count up there, and they have been successful in doing so. Here's the payoff pitch, and that's high for ball 4. Sellers Lynn is going to make his way down to first with his second walk of the day.
Next up to bat for Beaufort,
and that's going to bring up number 10, third baseman Rowan Canaday, who so far has grounded out to the pitcher, who threw it to the catcher on a fielder's choice. He has been hit by pitch, and he is also grounded out to the shortstop. He is the one who was hitting the elbow. And that pitch is low in the dirt for ball 1. His favorite sports idol is Ronald Acuna Jr., the right fielder for the Atlanta Braves, who are quickly closing on the Mets in their division race as we approach the All-Star break. That pitch is swung on and missed, as Rowan Canaday looks like he's pulling his head out of the at-bat whenever he swings. It's hard to make contact whenever you're looking over down the left field line as the ball is crossing the plate while you swing. That's something that I have done multiple times in my life. And that ball is lifted up to the right side, and that's going to drop in foul territory just out of reach of the right fielder, as Rowan Canaday tries to put together his own good at-bat as the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here in the top of the 6th inning, Beaufort County trails 6 runs to 10 as the home plate umpire swipes his foot across the home plate to clean it off a little bit. Rowan Canaday digs back in here. And the 1-2 pitch is called for strike 3 as Canaday's tough day at the plate continues.
Next up to bat,
and that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 8, Michael O'Connell. As we have a runner on first with 1 out, and that was a leadoff walk by Sellers Lynn. So far today, Michael has walked and flown out to the right fielder, and that pitch is in for a strike. First pitch strike from Bradley Runyon there. And then that is low for a ball as the catcher tries to back pick to first there. And we have a 1 ball, 1 strike count with 1 out. Michael O'Connell, if you remember, enjoys playing foosball. And that ball is lifted to the left side, hit pretty well. The left fielder makes the grab, backpedaling in left field. And the ball comes back in to second base. Great play by the left fielder to flip his hips around, turn and get to the ball and make the play to retire Michael O'Connell. And that brings up number 7, the catcher, Heyward Mcelhaney. Heyward started the game at second base, but whenever they changed pitchers, Heyward was moved behind the plate. So he has continued his day behind the plate. So far, he has struck out and grounded out to the pitcher twice. And that's a pickoff move to first, and Sellers Lynn is back in time as Heyward tries to keep Beaufort County's hopes alive here. And the pitch is low for ball 1. Good take there by Heyward. And the count moves to 1 ball and no strikes. And that's a ball high and inside, and brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Between games here, Heyward tried to convince me that he had 11 Division I schools looking at him, but I know for a fact that is not true. And that ball is fouled off down the right field line into my favorite pine tree. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. He actually knocked a couple of leaves, a couple of pine straws off that tree. I saw him fall to the ground. Hopefully that doesn't affect the tree at all. Count's going to be 2-1, 2 outs. And that's going to be low for ball 3. Heyward's put together a good at-bat here. He's looking for something to drive. I would imagine coach is giving him the green light. I'm a green light type of guy. 3-1 count. If it's there, Heyward's going to try and punish the ball. And it's there, and he hits one on a rope right to the shortstop. And that'll be the end of the half inning. This is the Beaufort County Channel. Welcome back here to the Beaufort County Channel and the championship game between Beaufort County and Central Clemson. Ben Rush remains on the mound for Beaufort County as Cade Simpson re-enters the game and leads off the inning for Central Clemson here. And that first pitch runs inside. I thought Cade Simpson was going to wear it, but he jumps out of the way for ball one. That brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. Cade Simpson's favorite song is Bigger Than Me by Big Sean. He enjoys basketball and football in addition to baseball. And that pitch is across for a strike, and that evens the count to 1-1. When he is not playing baseball, he enjoys watching baseball, as we have a time called, and Cade Simpson is going to make his way down to the third base coach. The third base coach is going to have a little conversation with him. Tell him to hit the ball. Good advice, coach. All right, it's a 1-1 count. There can't be that much that you need to talk to him about. And the game is back underway here. Central Clemson leads 10-6. 1-1 pitch on the way. That's in there for a foul ball. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. When Cade Simpson grows up, he wants to be a sports broadcaster. Well, again, Cade, I invite you up here anytime to enjoy this time we have of broadcasting the game. And that brings the count to 2-2 with that pitch. A ball outside. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning. That ball is hit hard. Rowan makes a stab. He flashes the leather, throws it over to first, pulls Sellers-Lynn off the base, but he comes back onto the base and makes the play at first for the number 1 out of the inning. That was a great play by Rowan Canaday as he fired the ball across. Sellers-Lynn also a very good job of showing off the agility at first to jump up, catch the ball, and come back down on the base. And now we have Cade Mcgibbon at the plate, and that ball is hit in the air on the right side, and that's going to drop in foul territory as the right fielder just can't quite get there. And that's going to move the count to no balls and 1 strike. As Cade Mcgibbon, who has so far flown out to... That ball is in the air to the left side, and that's going to fall in front of the left fielder for a single. And that's going to be his 2nd single of the day for Mcgibbon. And that's going to bring up Jack Christmas, who plays left field and catcher. And if you remember, his favorite player is Joe Burrow. His favorite song is Rap Star. So far today, he has grounded into 2 ground balls, 2 ground ball outs to the shortstop and the second baseman. He has also walked. In his free time, he enjoys fishing, and when he grows up, he wants to be a pro athlete. Here comes the 0-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike. The runner takes off. Throw down to second is not in time. He's in there safely with a stolen base. And that is Cade Mcgibbon with the stolen base there, stealing second, and that puts a runner in scoring position with 1 out here for Jack Christmas, whose favorite food is steak. His favorite movie is Top Gun Maverick. And that's a strike. Brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes. It makes me wonder how many of these kids have seen Top Gun Maverick and not seen the original Top Gun. I don't know if one can be watched without the other. I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick yet. And that pitch is inside for a ball, and that brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out and a runner on second. As we are trying to finish this game up here. That ball is laced foul down the third base line. That was a very well hit ball, but it was foul. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jack Christmas. As he digs back into the plate, Ben Rush comes set. And the pitch is high for ball 2. That evens the count to 2-2. As we have Cade Mcgibbon on second, and no one is working back and forth to keep him on second. He could probably take third pretty easily if he wanted to steal here. And the pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. Jack Christmas is retired, and that brings up the designated hitter number 6, Luke Vernon, who is looking to continue his good day at the plate after he has been hit by a pitch. He has sacrifice bunted, and he has hit for a single. And that ball is hit on the ground to the third baseman. Rowan makes the play. He's going to throw over to first for the out, and that'll be 3 down. As Beaufort County has their last chance at the plate to do something. We'll be back on the County Channel. Welcome back to the championship game here between Beaufort County and Central Clemson. This is the 2022 State All-Star Junior Dixie Junior Boys Championship matchup. Leading off the inning here with a fly ball to the right side, second baseman is going to range back and make the play, was number 6, Alex Arnold. And he is retired on 1 pitch, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, number 3, Remington Wheeler. He started the game at first, and he has since moved over to second. And he's going to try and keep things alive here for Beaufort County. And that pitch is high and inside for a ball. Beaufort County here needs 4 runs in order to keep this game going. They need at least 4 runs to keep this game going. And if Central Clemson holds those runs off, that ball is lifted foul for strike 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. If Central Clemson can hold their lead here, then the game would be over because they would not need to hit in the bottom of the 7th inning, as we only play 7 innings here. And the 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's swung on and fouled straight back into the catcher for strike number 2, and that's going to bring the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Remington Wheeler. And we still have Bradley Runyon on the mound here as he throws an off-speed pitch. And Remington, they're going to check down to first, and they're going to say he went around as Bradley Runyon records the strikeout to Remington Wheeler. And now Beaufort County is down to 1 out. They're down to 1 out, and this is the number 9 hole hitter, Jack Zahn. And that ball is high and brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. If Central Clemson can record this out, they clinch the championship game here. And that's going to be a strike on the outside corner to Jack Zahn. That evens the count to 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And that pitch is outside for a ball. And that brings the count to 2-1. Bradley Runyon is moving quickly up on the mound there. He is anxious to get this game over with. And that pitch is high for another ball. He might be trying to work a little too quickly up there. If Jack Zahn can reach base safely here, then Beaufort County might have a chance with Tanner Altman coming behind him. And that's going to be outside for ball 4. Jack Zahn does his job of keeping them alive. And that's going to bring Tanner Altman up, center fielder. Bradley Runyon was really kind of rushing through his motion there. I think he was really anxious to get that last out. I know it's an emotional game, but he needs to stay within himself, take his time, and deliver strikes here. With a 4-run lead, he doesn't need to strike everyone out here. He doesn't need to strike out the last batter. As long as they get this last one, they will win the championship game. That brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes here. Tanner Altman swings and fouls it straight back into the net. That's going to fall on top of one of our tents here in foul territory for strike number 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. As Beaufort County is trailing 10-6 with a runner on first and 2 outs. That pitch is low in the dirt for ball number 2. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to Tanner Altman, who has had a fantastic tournament so far. He has walked, struck out, walked, and singled so far today, and has played a very good defensive game in center field. That pitch is swung on and fouled back again for strike number 2 to even the count. We have a 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th with a runner on first. Central Clemson is down to their last strike and last out. And a pickoff move to first. Got him at first. He is out at first on a pickoff move. And that is going to be the ball game, folks. As Central Clemson wins the championship here at Oscar Frazier Park. Very good tournament by all teams here.
Congratulations.
And Central Clemson will go on to clinch. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you for the next game here on Field 3. This is the Beaufort County Channel.